the biggest surprise of the book for me and my co-author Mitch was really that they made their fortunes in highly competitive businesses. 4 out of 5 of them were in things like clothing or retail or coffee, and we really didn't expect that.
And one of the things we talked about, Peter Thiel was on, and he said you need to have a monopoly to be a great success.
Look, I wish I were as successful as Peter Thiel, but the data doesn't support him. You really see that what happens is that these people bring together 5 attributes. They look at imagination, execution, risk-taking, timing, and great producer-performer leadership to really create new markets.
So I have a question about this, which is, what was their age, most of these people, when they started on the ascent, if you will?
Yeah, about a third of them started on the ascent at about 30 or before. Mm-hmm. About 2/3 of them did it between 40 and 50. And
really?
Yeah. So it's later than you think.
And the reason I ask that is also Peter Thiel. One of his sort of foundational investment decisions is your age. Mm-hmm. I believe if you're over 30 or 35, he thinks you're kind of done.
Yeah, I think that yeah, we can.
By the way, I'm over 35 too, so we're all done.
All of us are done.
There's some hope for some of us. I think Peter may be looking at a particular part of the market which is more tech-oriented, and as I say, most of our self-made billionaires are not in the tech area.
Is there a particular billionaire whose story you think was the most interesting?
Well, I think that Sarah Blakely is really pretty interesting. I believe she's been on your show before.
Right, of Spanx fame.
When you take a look, I was talking to Marianne in the makeup room, and she was saying, look, everybody's cut their feet off pantyhose and used them to hide, panty lines, which Sarah did. But Sarah had the gumption to realize that she had solved this problem not just for herself, but for other people. Went to over 100 manufacturers, and it was only when that last manufacturer was sitting down at dinner with his daughters and explained the product that they said they would both buy it, and he decided to go ahead with it.
Right. When you talk about these 5 habits, one of them is this empathetic imagination. What does that mean, empathetic imagination?
It's really a combination of the emotional side of things as well as thinking about the rational side. So it's about seeing where a market's going to go. So you take a look at somebody like Jeff Lurie. When he spent $185 million to buy the Philadelphia Eagles, everybody thought he was crazy. The Wall Street Journal had a half-page article about what a vanity purchase it was. But Jeff had seen that television was going to get more diversified in terms of its distribution, then American football was really going to be a great product.
What about folks who you might even describe as irrational? I mean, I've talked to some very successful people who say, if I actually knew what I knew now, I would have never done this because I would have thought it would have been impossible myself.
Well, one of the things, Andrew, that we noticed is that these people aren't dreamers. In fact, I might suggest fire the dreamers. These people are people who, when they see an opportunity, they have to make it real. And that's the really big thing. So they might, with hindsight, say, gee, I wouldn't have done it, but they had to do it, is what we saw.
Do you believe that this type of success is repeatable? Meaning, you look at Bill Gates, he created a company in Microsoft. He had 2 really hit products, right? First in Windows, or maybe DOS, but Windows, and then clearly the Office product.
Sweet, yeah.
Google's had a couple, but a lot of people say that everyone's got one great idea in them.
Well, what we saw is that these people generally had 2 or 3 or sometimes even 4 or more successful businesses. So you take a look at a guy like John Paul DeJoria, who did Paul Mitchell Systems. He also did Patron Tequila. So the example you gave is true, but the overall data shows they're serial entrepreneurs.
Okay, final question. Are you born with it, or is it something you can actually learn? Do you think being an entrepreneur, which is what all of these people are to some extent, is something that just comes with you when you show up on the scene, or you can actually go to a class at Wharton or elsewhere and learn how, or Harvard Business School and learn to do that?
Yeah. You have to look at it like a distribution. There are some people who are naturals, just like there are in sports, and there are some people who are never going to do it. But the vast majority of us sit in the middle and can learn. And that was really the purpose of the book, is that people can learn from these self-made billionaires how to be better corporate executives, better investors, better employees. And it's really that mass in the middle that we hope that people will take a look at the book and maybe for the new year learn something new.